Okay, well, let me read some reports that you can have a bit of your drink.
Yes.
We have the...
Oh
my
God.
goodness!
Oh no.
Young Swords member found decapitated. Esthort Police Depot has found a decapitated body in an abandoned house where the victim was later identified as Koerk Leinke. A high school teacher, oh my god, no! It happened in France. And member of the local Young Swords Cultural Center. The Red Youth are responsible. They suspect, but they are not saying anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who
we
else
don't
would do that?
Suspicion, we only do proof. And we have something here. A marble mine disaster. A coal mine has collapsed. Oh, you. And 82 people were died.
Working. Awesome. Not awesome, but bad.
The neglect in working situations. We have to stop it now. We have to stop the working stuff. We need to make an improvement.
Alright, so we have decapitation, mine disaster,
education disaster.
Education
People
disaster.
are fighting each other. We are in a recession. We cannot put money to anything. We need to put money to our military. We need to put money on our education system. We need to put money on our worker condition. We can't do anything. Why should I not just make a speech and say, I'm powerless. I can't do anything anymore.
Because then they wouldn't vote for you again.
But that's not that's not my goal. My goal is to improve the country. I don't have to be re-elected. I'm not some president in another country that I am in that really wants one thing. Oh wait.
Yes, but if you say that you're powerless, people will just lose their minds, I think.
I know, I have to making up appearances, I know. And I hate it. Why am I playing this game? Read the report. The NFP is on reforms. They are completely against any threshold reform. He significantly emphasized that this would lead to unwanted elements. I have to agree with that point of all these smaller nations. I mean, they should maybe get something to say in the parliament. That would calm down people. Workers' right bill nears completion.
You also don't want like a bunch of parties gridlocking everything either.
We will see. The workers' right proposed by Albin Cleven and Minister of Health Pascal is being prepared for the first draft review. Voices from the labor union showed strong signs of support. The session dedicated to the bill in the Assembly proved contentious. People that form the backbone of the social economy will finally be fully protected by extensive laws, Katarina said.
That's good.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
The Stability Order of 1954. An investigation on the influence of the Young Swords and Red Youth organizations on the post-assassination unrest has concluded. Both organizations haven't officially organized or called for illegal actions, but several low to mid-level leaders from both have links to insightful actions that led to deaths, injuries, and instability. This allows us to ban the organizations. Which
that sounds like something that's going on in real life, just a little bit. Twitch chat knows everything. Go ahead.
If we are gonna ban them, we are gonna ban both of them.
Yeah, we can't just ban one. But won't that make
banning is not solving anything.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Won't that just make them both extremely angry at you?
We're not gonna ban it.
Alright. That was a good decision.
Well, maybe. We don't know yet.
Maybe. I say I think. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Oh no. This game is so deep, it's so unbelievable. Well, there we go. The finalization of the drafted constitutional changes. There we go. I was walking to my office since today was the day to edit and make the final changes for the proposal to change the constitution of Sordland. The Reform Committee have finally brought tangible results, and the draft of the changes were about to present it to me. I walked in the marble corridors of the palace thinking about the huge decisions I was going to take. And there was Livia.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Livia.
How are you today, sir?
I feel better now that I've seen you, Livia. Winky winky. I'm perfectly fine, or I'm about to make stressful decisions, so not feeling that great. No, I'm perfectly fine.
Good to hear.
Pause before taking my coat. It looks like she had something on her mind.
Mr. Rayne, can you give me a hint about your reform plans? If you ask me, taking away the judge's immunity is long overdue, but it might anger a lot of people in these halls.
You'll find out with the rest of Sordland, sweetheart. Yeah, she is acting like she is some sort of spy lately.
I know.
I'll take that into consideration. 3. Nothing's been decided yet.
You could just do 3. I hope you'll keep me informed. I'll take your coat out. Why does she care? It's not your
She's only
job.
my secretary.
I know.
Livia left to hang up my coat. I entered my office and sat down. Not long after, Peter, Lucian and Nia arrived.
Oh, these people again.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning. Time to finally get this proposal going.
Peter placed a draft in front of me.
After your modifications, we will be starting the process.
Let's start, or 2. Can we go over each of the points that are in discussion? Let's go over the points again.
Well, apart from the first 2 sections of decreasing the Supreme Court's authority and limiting the presidential vetoes, nothing else has been agreed on unanimously. We could start talking about Section 3. This is about the impeachment process of the president. Currently, in cases of high treason and breaking the Constitution, the Supreme Court may impeach and try the president. Most reformists want the impeachment to be initiated by the Assembly. They think that they do not have any power over potential rogue presidents that would abuse their power.
Well, that's something I can find myself in. Agreed.
Yeah.
Not sure if it is correct to chastise.
Chastise
The president this much, though. Is that just to look after the president over his shoulder, chasing him?
No, that means chastise means chastity means to be limiting someone. Like when you chastise someone, you limit it.
All right.
Yeah. Remember the CK3 trait? Chastise? Chastate? It's like that, yeah.
Or 2, the Assembly should have oversight over the president. Yes.
The law is particularly dangerous for you in this case. We will be going against the old guard, and if we prove to be successful in the Assembly, they will be looking for anything they can declare unconstitutional to tackle you, and all they need is the Supreme Court to impeach you.
Talking about impeachment.
I know.
This
I don't know. Mm-hmm.
1. What if we don't succeed? The court can have me impeached for this. 2. Maybe reforms are not a great idea after all. We are going to stick to this plan. 3. We should define a better impeachment process. 4. We could even remove impeachment altogether. Can we do that? Can we just remove that? Let's do 1. The questions are good. Questions.
Question.
What if we don't succeed? The court can have me impeached for this.
Yes, they are already trying to hit you since they are aware about the current wind of change, but we aim to cooperate with some of the judges to make sure that doesn't happen.
If it does happen, we are done.
Yes, all gone. We will make sure the old guards won't control the court any longer, Mr. President.
How can you make sure?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Section 4. This is regarding the appointment of ministers. Currently, the president is free to appoint anyone from the members of the assembly. Nobody else is involved with the process. There's definitely a demand to involve the assembly in the process.
Could introduce a confidence vote. Confidence vote? What?
Confidence vote. That means, like, I assume. Wait, what does that mean? Does that mean like? I think that means in secret, maybe. Let me Google that.
Okay.
Maybe.
3,
Hold
I
on.
agree. We should involve the assembly more in the process. I think the assembly should have way more power than they have right now, to be honest. I mean, that is how modern politics
is a formal process in which people, such as the members of a legislature, vote in order to indicate whether or not they support a leader, government, etc. Don't know what any of that means. Don't know.
I think we just do 3.
Yeah. Some reformists suggested that the assembly should nominate the ministers before the president approves them. Of course, according to the ratio of the parties in government, in our case, it's only us. The 5th section is about our infamous electoral threshold. Most reformists want to lower the threshold as much as Mr. Richter and his PFGP definitely wants to see change on this topic. They find our 10% threshold to be anti-democratic, which is something I also agree with. Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, but this is a delicate matter. The party, and I mean, not even Albin wants us to change the threshold. They think that this would destroy our party in the long term.
But you're only looking at your own party, that you have to stay the biggest, but you have to work together.
True. Not wrong. The 10% threshold is what that's not right, is what allowed us to control half of the assembly with only a 30% majority in the elections.
1. But the high threshold is the reason why Swedish politics has become so isolated. 2. We should definitely work to decrease the threshold for better representation. 3. Do you think it would really hurt the party? 4. This is out of the question. I think I'm gonna go with it. I think I'm gonna do 2 here.
Yeah, it'll make the people less uppity, I think.
Yeah, that's the big problem here, right?
Yeah, they're way too uppity.
I mean, if we can get the communist and the nationalist in the assembly, and because now they have nothing to do, right? They have no voice. If they get a voice and they are still doing all these crimes, we have a better chance to hold that, because apparently the voice in the assembly cannot calm them down. So it's also then the task of these people. And if they don't, then they had their chance. You are elected. So many people are electing you. You are now in the assembly, and this is what you can do. Otherwise, the majority will vote against you, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, if I agree.
I'm just going to do 2.
I agree. Even after Soll's resignation, we still have 3 parties in the assembly. Even Mr. Kilber's NFP is barely elected. Don't forget that the Communist Party and the Workers' Party of Bludia both had a close to 10% vote in the last election. You will be opening their way into the parliament in the future if you were to decrease the threshold. It's important that you realize this.
We are going to debate them, and we are going to keep controlling them, and also if they do something wrong, we will confront them in the assembly about what they did.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they're not going to go away either, so might as well just let them be in the assembly. Yeah. Of course, that would also mean that USP might lose its majority in the assembly, sir.
Yeah, but we have the the party of Mr. Richter also on our side.
That is true. Yeah.
If our own democracy is the reason of our downfall, we have to accept it. 2. Don't worry, with these reforms we will be even more popular. Yeah, maybe. 3. We can't just give away our majority like that. No, that's not gonna be the option. 4. We can't allow communists to enter the assembly. Yes, we can.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just gonna
can.
do 1.
I agree with you, Mr. President.
Lucian continued with the next section.
Section 6. This is about the presidential decrees. Reformists demand more limitations to the president's executive powers. Mr. Richter has demanded them to be completely removed.
Oof.
I have suggested to bring some limitations to decrees regarding their applicability. While we keep them, we should try to make sure that they will only be used in emergency situations.
Yes.
That's what the Supreme Court guy was trying to get us to do. Just to enact emergency powers. We could also make it dependent on an enabling act from the Assembly. Sure, it would make the whole process longer, but as long as we have a majority, nothing really changes.
We could also make it dependent on an enabling act from the Assembly. So the Assembly is gonna vote for it.
Giving you emergency powers, yeah.
I don't think presidential decrees need any reforms. 2. We will work with the reformers to limit the use of decrees.
Well, because what is a decree? It's emergency powers, essentially, right? Or
Yeah, we're only limiting the use, not completely banishing them.
yeah.
I think I can agree with it. We have to do something, right?
We need to bring the temperature down in the nation, yeah. Friends will probably demand that we remove them completely, but he forgets that Sordland is a presidential republic. Next is Section 7, term limits.
Uh-oh. Really? Uh-oh. 2. I don't aim to leave anytime soon. We keep the unlimited terms. Term limits? Term limits?
Term limits? What are those? They want us to include previously non-existing term limits. We can't allow somebody like Soll holding on to his seat for 2 decades again. We should establish limits. Hey, if people keep electing one person, that means they really are content. The masses are scared of change. Even Soll knew he had to leave, but we will leave it to the president to decide.
Yes, he did, but it took a long time. I agree, people should be able to elect the same person if they want to. 3. I will take my time and seriously consider the options before settling. I think I have to go with 2.
Yeah.
They can vote for the same person, right?
Yes.
Why would they not be allowed to vote for the same person?
Now I'll move on to the 8th section. We are reaching the end. It's the question about the immunity of the judges. While the anti-old guard sentiment is increasing, there are talks that taking away their immunity would give us authority over judiciary. I do not support taking away their powers for yourself, Mr. President. The judiciary must be independent and long-standing. While I agree that the current court members are problematic, there is no way to resolve it. The law is supposed to ensure the judiciary's independence by giving legal protections so they can't be pressured. Well, they need absolute immunity in theory, but look at what reality got us. We've got to deal with the most corrupt Chief Justice in the world, no chance to deal with him.
Should respect their immunity. 2. They should be able to be impeached. Why do I get to be impeached but not them? 3. We should crush the old guards to clear ways for further reforms. 4. Maybe we shouldn't make the Supreme Court our enemies just yet. Just yet. This is an interesting one, right?
Yeah, because you could... Yeah, no, I like that. You could get it through and then backstab them.
Maybe we should not make them our enemies yet, I think.
But the guy already hates you, though.
That's true.
Or one of them does.
Let's do 2.
Yeah.
I can be impeached, so they also can be impeached.
It's like, that's not fair. Exactly. But it would be tougher to persuade the judges with this. Miss Edmonds may not want to cooperate with you if they believe you're going to get rid of them afterwards. And the last one is the question about Soll's legacy, basically his Member of Honor law. It gave him absolute immunity even when he's retired. He is a permanent member of the Assembly as well, but lucky he doesn't really attend anymore.
Wait, what? He gave absolute immunity even when he's retired?
Mm-hmm. So when a president retires, essentially, you still remain a member of the Assembly. And
why?
I don't know. Well, he made the Constitution, so that's why.
Stupid.
According to the Constitution, the Member of Honor not only has leave, but the state also covers most of their expenses as well as providing security at all times. Oh, it can only be given to someone by an absolute majority vote in the Assembly and the approval of the President. That is why only Tarquin Soll has that title. He gave it to himself right after the military coup. This law is basically made to save the colonel, and it has a symbolic importance for Sordland because of it. We must get rid of this senseless law that protects him. He should be able to face justice for the atrocities that has taken place during his rule.
I agree we should abolish this position. 2. No, I think we should respect this law. 3. You should keep the title but take away the immunity clause.
Yeah. Immunity clause is kind of hard. I don't know. Maybe you could keep the title to keep him happy, but take away the immunity clause. That would be enough to hold him accountable for his actions, but why would you want to keep such a title, Mr. President? Why not?
Regardless of him, I see no problem with having a special title for great heroes. It's just a title. It's just a title.
It just is, though. It's like, why do you... Well, regardless of what Mr. Rayne decides, we will need to work together to push this agenda. Let's start work... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. There we go. Gonna take some time, I think.
Right.
According to Article 7782, the President may veto a bill by returning it to the Assembly with a written statement. Articles do not contain any information on how to override a veto. As a consequence, the President has an absolute veto power that cannot be overridden by the Grand National Assembly under any circumstances. He can remove vetoes. The new Constitution will not include any veto powers. The President may not block any legislation passed by the Grand National Assembly of Sordland. 2. Limit vetoes. 3/5 majority can override this. The new Constitution will allow the Grand National Assembly to override a veto with a 60% majority.
Hmm.
And who wanted to be this to be completely gone?
I don't know. It's a good question. Because, I mean, when you're introducing these new parties, right, like you want to do, you might lose the majority in the House of Assembly, which means that they might pass stuff that you might not like.
But the thing is, I am only used to this situation because in the Netherlands we have 15 political parties working together.
That's true, yeah. And in the US there's 2 and it still doesn't work. So
yes, and that's the thing here.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it completely works with having everyone in the assemblies. That's.
You're more familiar with this system than I am, so if you think it works, you should do it, because I'm not used to a multi-party system at all.
I think I'm just going to remove all the vetoes, actually.
All right.
We will become fully democratic. There are no vetoes. Vetoes are for dictators. If the majority of the assembly votes against something, we have to listen to it, because that is the will of the people.
It's well said, Mr. President. The will of the people.
Section 2. Constitutional Amendment Process. According to Article 5, we can only do one option here. According to Article 5 of the Constitution, an amendment may be proposed by members of the Assembly with at least 150 signatures. A 2/3 majority vote in the Grand National Assembly, a simple majority vote in the Supreme Court, is required for the amendment. As a consequence, the Supreme Court, which is not part of the elected legislative branch, has enormous power in the amendment process. Remove the vote. Constitutional amendment will not require the vote of the Supreme Court. This will remove the judiciary's legislative power. I think that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Impeachment process. The President of Sordland is not responsible for the actions performed in the exercise of presidential duties, except in the case of high treason or violation of the Constitution. So stupid, right? In such cases, the President may be impeached by the Supreme Court in joint session. If an absolute majority of its members, therefore, the impeachment process only includes the Supreme Court, and it gives them great power over the executive. The Assembly and the Supreme Court may impeach. The President may be impeached by a 2/3 majority vote in both the Grand National Assembly and the Supreme Court. 2. The Assembly may impeach. The President may be impeached with a 2/3 majority vote in the Grand National Assembly. The President may not be impeached.
There we go.
There we go. You can also not change it.
So, I don't know. Maybe one?
If we do
I'm
2...
not sure. Because number 2 is like the United States.
That is the most democratic way.
Yeah.
Then
only
the whole assembly is getting super powerful.
Yeah.
Which it should be, because that is, in my country, it's the most powerful thing.
Okay.
When they make laws and stuff.
Can you impeach the Dutch Prime Minister? Is that a thing? The man with the glasses?
Well, yeah, impeaching means more like just vote him away, right? Or
okay. No, like forcibly remove. At least in the United States, I don't know how it is in Netherlands.
People can do they can fill in a amendment, I think, or a
referendum. Yeah.
No, yeah, we also have referendums, but they also removed all the referendums in our country. So.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Which is really stupid.
Yes. Politics touchy.
Yeah, I don't know. There are parties in our assembly that can vote for a motion of non-trusting the leader.
Okay.
And if a majority votes for it, then he can go away. Really. So, but that never happens because the parties that he's working together with, there are now 4 parties working together who are having a majority, will never vote for that thing. So he's always safe.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the first one, right, that we can decide, that one seems like it's more hoops that they have to jump through to get you out, but at the same time, it still keeps the Supreme Court's power, right?
And that's what we not want.
That's what we do not want, exactly.
Let's go with the Assembly.
Yeah, I think that's the best option.
If a 2/3 majority vote me away, then I really fucked it up.
Yep.
Appointment of ministers. According to the Constitution, the President appoints the ministers to the Council of Ministers from elected members of the Assembly. This requires no confidence vote for the Grand National Assembly. A confidence vote will be required. The President may nominate ministers, which will require a confidence vote from the Grand National Assembly for their appointment. 2. The Grand National Assembly nominates their ministers. So they nominate a list of ministers that I can appoint.
Yeah, so you choose, but they don't have to. Yeah, basically they get a group of them, and they're like, here you go, these are your options. Number 1's like the United States. The president says, this is who I want, and they have to get appointed. And it can be anyone. in that case, if you were to choose that.
You should go for that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the electoral threshold. Political party needs a minimum of 10%. We can go to 8%.
I like 8 personally. 3 I think is too low, because then you'll get way too many parties.
This may allow the Workers' Party of Bludia and the Communist Party to be elected in the next elections.
And also, those parties in the last election got above 8%. So they can do that again, they'll be in the assembly.
Let's go to 8%. Oh, and thank you, Oostenrijk, for your host for 0 viewers. It is 2% in Denmark. Yes, I know, Sophia Lander. I think here it is also like that. I mean, we have 15 political parties.
Mm-hmm. I'm American,
we even have a party for the animals.
Oh, you do? No, you
Yep.
don't. Do you really? Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there's the host message. Thanks for the raid, Oostenrijk. With your 2 others. What did you stream?
I looked at emoji.
Thank you. EU4? Oh, yes, of course you did. EU4, I didn't play it for months, and I really like it that I didn't play it for months, because then I can play it again after a while. If I keep playing the same game, you get getting crazy. But let's continue. We have 8%. I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Play as the Netherlands with a friend. Playing as the Netherlands is a lot of fun in that game. Section 6. Presidential decrees. According to Article 18 and 51, the President is able to issue decrees on political, social and economic issues that would carry the force of law. They could not contradict the Constitution and are subject to judicial review. Therefore, the President may issue decrees in many subjects without going through the Grand National Assembly. However, the Assembly may pass legislation on the same subjects to override presidential decrees. Now we can do decrees require an enabling act. The President will not be able to issue decrees that would carry the force of law without an enabling act from the Grand National Assembly. That sounds okay. Or 2, remove decrees. The President will not be able to issue decrees that would carry the force of law, making the Grand National Assembly the sole lawmaking authority. Now, if we remove this, Mr. Richter will vote for. That was this thing, I think.
Yeah, he didn't want decrees.
I mean, maybe we should just remove it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things that might come to bite you back in the end, but I don't know.
If that is the will of the people, then we have to listen to them. Then I will step down.
Yeah.
And then they see that everything gets even worse, and then they vote me back again.
Exactly.
Which I will allow. Okay, see you next time, Oostenrijk. Thanks for the host. For the raid, actually. Okay, I'm gonna remove them. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna get a lot of less power. We will have to listen to the assembly a lot more now.
But hopefully they vote for you.
Term limits. No person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice. No, we are not gonna change it. And immunity of justices. Constitution gives justices of the Supreme Court total immunity and describes no procedure of impeachment, making them untouchable by the other branches of the government. We are not going to change that. Or judges can be impeached by the Assembly. The Supreme Court justices may be proposed to be impeached on the legal grounds of unconstitutional behavior. A valid impeachment proposal will require a 2/3 majority of the Grand National Assembly to impeach the individual justice.
So I could see some serious political problems with the first one. With just, them not liking each other and then moving to impeach them. But at the same time, that man who came and spoke to you, I forgot his name, wanted to do some very bad things.
Mhm.
So
We are gonna do this.
Alright.
We will become completely democratic, guys. This is a fantastic day. Oh, what's this? We have 10 political parties in Danish parliament and 1 party without a seat in parliament. And a lot of local political parties who only run at local municipal elections. Yeah, we have that as well. We have our country, we have our provinces, and we have our municipalities. And they all have their own parties. So, yeah. There's also a provincial party for Friesland. You know, that region where they speak Frisian.
Yes,
and that's
we
want
have
independence and that kind of things.
I think. Who's the Frisian guy? We have a Frisian in our Discord, I think.
It's one big bureaucracy, politics. In my country, at least. But oh well, let's continue with the game. Section 9, Honorary Membership of Tarkin Soll. Article 99 of the Constitution defines the Member of Honor title, its appointment procedure as well as the rights their members may exercise. A Member of Honor has absolute immunity and is considered to be a permanent member of the Grand National Assembly. They are given control of their own personal security team provided by the state's presidential guards. A member is also eligible to live in a special private residence provided by the state for free. The only person who holds the title is Tarkin Soll. Abolish it. Every president is an honorary member. Abolish immunity of honorary members.
So
that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, yeah. So they can still get like the guards and stuff, but they're just not immune.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
You're about to make constitutional changes sorted. Are you sure about your decisions? No. But I have to click yes. There we go. After I made the final change for the proposal, I showed it to my team. They read the changes and discussed it amongst themselves. Lucian spoke afterwards.
Looks like the amendments are ready to be proposed. But I have to say this too. The new electoral threshold will be really difficult for the party to accept. Our guys are not fond of that idea. That's true. It will be tough to get all of their support. Some of our members may try to openly fight against this. Oh.
We'll figure it out. 2. I will make sure the party follows me. 3. I'm prepared to reconsider if it comes to that. We will figure it out.
Oh.
Should we do 2?
Yeah, that's the easiest way you can do it, I think, is you just have to get the party on board. We will all do our best to make it work, sir. Any other comments before we proceed? I will say that I do not agree with the new law that gives the Assembly the power to impeach the judges of the Supreme Court. I am also against the Chief Justice and obstructionist behavior, but even if we get rid of all of this law, they will need to be scared to go against the administration when it's needed. They need their protection to do their job, otherwise the new ones will pause, just like Soll's old guards.
It's also true, right?
That is true, yeah. Because you just scare them into doing what you want. But it's more important that we get rid of Miss Morgana. After the obstacles are gone, we can strive to make it better. However...
Turn to me.
You have to be careful, Anton. I'm sure you will be fine, but with all that's happening out there, we'll need to prepare against these threats from one way or another.
I appreciate the feedback.
Well, I think we can proceed now. We'll be working on the wording of the proposal with our legal experts before we propose it. In the meantime, you must introduce this proposal to our party, sir. You'll need to take a strong speech to get them behind you, but I advise you first talk to the leaders of both the conservative and the reformist wings of the party. As far as I'm aware, Mr. Cleveland supports the reforms already. Miss Tory will be the real problem. She became the real heavyweight after we left for the executive.
Any advice in regards to dealing with them? Any advice for the speech? Dealing?
As Miss Vectorn said, Mr. Cleveland will probably be easier to persuade. We need to unite the party under this, so his support is vital. Miss Gloria will be tougher to break. The problem is that she's capable of turning the moderates and the conservatives against us. As much as I don't want to say this, if she makes demands to change the proposal, you may need to give in.
Okay. The advice.
Wish you luck with the party, sir. I think we can end the meeting here.
We all shook hands and they left the room. That was a very long talk.
I know.
And that's also going to be the end for the stream today. We're now
That's
in
a good
turn
point.
3 and we did one thing. Oh my god. I'm going to leave the newspaper things on so we can remind ourselves what happened last